Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I have some new crazy stories for you. Let's go to the first one, about OP's crazy mother, who is threatening to physically harm OP's stepmom if she comes to OP's wedding, and is trying to hold OP's wedding dress hostage so she gets her way. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I'm posting this for advice on how to proceed cutting my mother out of my life because of her actions and her pride being more important to her than her only child's happiness. Just a bit of history. My stepmom has been in my life since I was 3 years old and has done her best in giving me a hand up with a narcissistic mother who often put her many boyfriends before me and an alcoholic father. Was my childhood the best thing in the world? Absolutely not. But she did her best and did a lot for me, even though I'm not her child. Today, I have a pretty decent relationship with my stepmother, despite our ups and downs. Many stepparents and stepchildren have ups and downs, so I consider it normal. Especially when I was a teenager and I was living with her and my dad. What teenager doesn't fight or bicker with their mother figure? My dad and stepmom are divorced now, and my stepmom lives across the country from me with my little brother and sister, 23 male, 17 female. Flashback to 15 to 20 years ago when my stepmom said to my mom something along the lines of, "I raised her," or "blah blah my daughter." My mom got really mad, but let it go while I was still a kid. My 18th birthday is the last time she spoke to my dad and stepmom. Fast forward to now. My mom is the biggest grudge holder I've ever met. Like, if the McDonald's drive-thru guy didn't get her order right, she'll refuse to go to that McDonald's ever again and tell everyone an overly dramatic story of how they got her order wrong. My mom also has a history of overly dramatic storytelling, threatening people with violence and stretching the truth. My mom also has a history of buying things or doing things for me in order to get me to do something she wants, including having one of her boyfriends buy me expensive things when I was 14 or 15, so I kept my mouth shut about her cheating on her husband. Her husband at the time was trash, but still, you don't cheat on your husband. I'm also inclined to mention that the last 5 years or so since she started dating my stepdad, 29 male, I don't care about the age difference. She's my mom, and if she's happy, I'm happy. And all in all, he's a really good guy. Her maturity level tanked. She gets drunk a lot and drunk dials and texts me to yell at me and gossip about things and people. She yells and screams obscene things in public. She is an R and makes sure everyone knows it, even though her boyfriend and daughter are both half Hispanic and her future son-in-law is Indian. I can barely stand to be around her anymore. She brags about the oddest things, like how she's been to jail and how she's an avid Trump supporter, and N-slur this and S-slur that, as well as being my mother and making me feel bad for her bringing me into this world, and says things on the lines of, "Oh yeah? Well, I did X thing for longer than you have, so that makes me better than you." Basically, I'm white and bigger and louder than you, so that means I'm right. She never apologizes for anything. She hurts whoever she wants, me included, and is too proud to say, "I'm sorry, I was wrong." Now to today's issue. My wedding is in 2 years, but I decided to get my wedding dress early so I can do things with it and get alterations on time, as those things can take quite a while. Unfortunately, my fiancé, 31 male, lost his job due to COVID, and I told my mom that with him being on unemployment, I can't afford my dress, so I will cancel the appointment we had. She said not to worry, that my stepdad would graciously accept the financial responsibility of buying my dress as a wedding present, which I don't mind at all. But because I've been burned by her before, because of her aforementioned holding things over my head, and told her that I'll figure it out eventually, she insisted and seemed genuine about it, so I accepted. We get to the dress shop and I start trying on dresses that my mom and maid of honor, 29 female, picked out, and a few I picked out. I see myself in one my mom just so happened to pick, and I absolutely loved it. It was the one. So she bought it. No harm done, right? Wrong. That day, at my socially distanced small birthday get-together, after praising herself in all her dress-picking glory, she demanded for the 3rd time, after 2 fights about it, that my stepmother is not invited. This day is about her daughter. My stepmom has her own daughter, and if she even sees her there, she will cause a scene and beat her up and ruin my wedding and not care because I didn't care enough about her feelings toward my stepmother. So, because it was my birthday, I satiated the beast and told her I'll talk to my stepmom just to get it off the table so she doesn't try to ruin my birthday too. A few days later, she tells me the dress will be in around the beginning of September, and I should definitely keep it at her house. It's what's best, and it's tradition, knowing I never adhere to traditional anything. She has been insisting this since around the time she first told me not to invite my stepmom, with threats of violence and stabbing and drowning, and name a horrible way to treat someone out of your own petty selfishness. This past weekend, I received a text from the bridal shop that my dress has arrived. Yes, excitement. But because my mom is being the way she is and has zero sign of changing her mind or respecting me enough to let crap go for one weekend of her entire life because she loves me, I want to pick it up, cut her a check out of my wedding savings account for the amount of the dress, and mail it to her with a letter stating everything she's ever done to hurt me and how her selfishness ruined our relationship. I'm terrified of standing up to my mother because when I was a kid, she taught me to always stand up for myself, except to her. When I did stand up to her, I got my butt kicked, grounded for ridiculously long amounts of time, and verbally and mentally A. To this day, my mom uses my mental illnesses against me, telling me things like, maybe you should tell your therapist what you just said to me, so they can tell you how much of an a-hole you're being, and how I'm your mother, and I'm always right. My mom is a huge one-upper, and always has to have the last word. My question is, how would I go about doing this? I have no idea where to start, and I don't know how to go about telling my stepmother what's going on, nor do I know how to handle the backlash of my mom sending other family members and her friends after me when I finally tell her that her presence in my life makes me feel unsafe, anxious, and sad, because I know she doesn't truly care about me, but cares for her pride more. OP just has to do what she has to do. Then OP needs to block her number from her phone and her social media, not answer the door if she shows up at OP's place, and call the cops if she threatens OP or tries to break in. OP doesn't owe her anything. Bringing OP into the world was her choice, and bringing OP up was her obligation, not a favor to OP. OP owes her nothing. OP is gonna be married. Maybe she'll have children someday. This is not a person OP wants to have to protect her marriage or her children from for the rest of her life. It's okay to say, thanks for bringing me into this world, but I'm done being indebted to you for something I had no say in. It's time for me to live my own life, and for you to go live yours. I wish you all the best. It's okay to be done. It's okay to cut bad or sick people out of your life when they impact you negatively. It's okay to block her. It's okay to call the cops on her if she comes threatening OP. It's okay to get a restraining order. It's okay to move and not give her a forwarding address. It's okay. Let it be okay. I just wanted to update you guys on this situation. Well, my mom texted me saying that because I had my dress shipped to me in an attempt to not let her keep it as leverage against me, that she canceled the payment. Firstly, the transaction was already put through, and there's no way she can get her money back from them. Secondly, I'm giving her and my stepdad a check for the cost of the dress, $700, and I let her know this when I texted her back. She then asked what my problem was with her, since I haven't spoken to her in about a month, without her calling or texting me first. So, well, I lost it. I told her that I don't want to talk to her because she's mean and rude and a bully. I told her it's my dress to do with as I please. She then said, it's my only daughter's wedding, along with several other gaslighting things like, you're blowing this out of proportion, and, oh, I'm such a horrible mother for wanting to make your day perfect. I told her that I had a lot of things brought out of me that I spoke about with my therapist, and she, again, told me that my therapist is a bad person and bad at her job. No, she's not. All she did was help me admit that my mother has no place in my life anymore. Neither does her drama, her her gaslighting, and her narcissistic behavior. I also told her that I'm not afraid of her anymore, and she can't hurt me anymore. She then went on about how terrible my dad and stepmom treated me. What she clearly chose to forget is that A, I spoke to them about the way they made me feel, and they genuinely apologized. Many tears and hugs were had. And B, She is the only one who told me things like, they don't actually love you, they just want my child support money. I came to find out later in life that she never gave my dad and stepmom a dime, especially since it wasn't a family court matter anymore, as joint custody of me was awarded and they didn't need to tell the courts with whom I lived. I told her she destroyed me beyond repair throughout my life, and this garbage with the dress was the last straw. She just kept on chirping at me, and I will not be giving her any more attention. I will be dropping a check in her mailbox within the next few days, along with the letter I wrote her shortly after my last post was written, telling her why I'm going no contact. I, 27 male, lost my mom at 15 in a road accident. I was a fairly airheaded kid in school and was great academically. My dad, male, 48, remarried to Isabel 10 months later, ostensibly for my care. The next 2 years after my mom's passing were extremely hard on me. Isabel was temperamental with me, sometimes nice or almost ignoring me. She had a son, 2 years older. We practically had no relationship as he moved for college around the time they got married. My dad paid for his college, which helped my morale for test prep, ducked student loans. When I was 17, I was going through old pictures. I ran into some domestic pictures of Isabel and my dad. I realized many of them were from Seattle. Only time my dad was there was when he had been working on site, for weeks the year before Mom died. There had been a fight about the on-sites not bringing the family extra money. I realized that my dad was probably cheating on my mom with Isabel prior to her death. I didn't know if my mom knew this, though I think so. I kept it quiet because Isabel was pregnant with my stepsister at this time. I found out later that year that my mom had left me as her sole inheritor, which was quite some money. Her parents' inheritance money, and 50% of the house. This has helped me pay for college. My dad challenged this will, causing some delay in executing it. Some words were said about my mom which I didn't like. My dad had also taken $6,000 from my account. I let it go because I honestly was happy to have money for college. After moving out of state to college, I've been low contact with Dad. I had a court wedding, COVID, and have a 7-month-old now. 2 weeks ago I was in town. My dad decided to meet me and my family, which I agreed to. It was a nicer restaurant in town, and along came Isabel, my stepsis, and Isabel's son, his girlfriend, and 2 kids. The dinner was good, till Isabel brought up the house and mentioned my stepbrother's wife losing her job. I deflected this to a private chat with my dad. No ducking way am I giving it up. This made the conversation much more difficult. When the check came, my dad asked me to take care of the bill, and I refused, asking them to split it. I had no idea everyone was coming and had no contact with any of them. My dad started to bring up how I had a nest egg and my mom babied me. Suddenly, my stepbrother said, "Dude, just get it. You'll be fine." I kinda saw red at this and told him to shut the duck up and that my mom gave me the money cause dad was an adulterer. Isabel got in the middle, asking me not to talk to my dad like that, and my wife tried to calm me down. I said I don't want anything to do with his family and to keep our relationship just between me and my dad. Anyways, more words were shared and I handed them cash from my side and left. My wife said I should not have acted like that, but got my side. So, am I the a-hole? No, not an a-hole. OP's dad had cheated on OP's mom, contested the will because he didn't get any of the money, let OP get treated badly by the stepmother, stole money from OP, invited other people to a dinner without OP's knowledge, and then expected OP to pay. Probably the plan all along. Also spent the whole dinner trying to manipulate OP into getting more of the things OP's mother left OP. OP is only the A in this situation if he continues putting himself in this situation with his dad and his family. They, unfortunately, don't seem to care about OP, only in getting things out of him. OP needs to focus on his family and not worry about the stress and pain that OP's father will bring. I, 24 female, and my now ex, 24 male, were together for almost 8 years. Almost a year ago, we had a huge fight, which led us to breaking up. The breakup lasted about 3 months, and then we decided to give it another try. Things were great until I found out he had gotten someone else pregnant. Granted, it was during our break, and no, the argument wasn't about cheating. Neither of us had ever cheated on each other. Still though, I was crushed that his first child would be with someone else and that he had hid it from me. The only reason I even found out was because he told me to check his phone, and I saw a message about the pregnancy. I left him for good this time because I just could not stomach this situation. Fast forward a couple of months, I found out that I am actually 3 months pregnant with my ex's child. Of course, I told him, and I guess he told his other child's mother, because she messaged me on Facebook saying she wanted to meet and talk. I reluctantly agreed out of curiosity. We meet at a nearby park, and she tells me that she would like us to be friends, get to know each other better, and hang out from time to time, being that our children are siblings. Now, I don't have a problem with this woman personally, and she seems very nice, but the pain of her having the love of my life's child is still very fresh. Add the extra amount of hormones, it's damn near impossible for me not to cry thinking about it. I tell her that eventually after our children are born and a little older, I wouldn't mind getting to know her better so that our children can have a very close relationship. I explain this to her and tell her that I'm simply not ready to be on friendly terms. However, we could be cordial. She goes off on me, saying that I'm being very inconsiderate. I'm not thinking about our children and their relationship, and that I am treating her as if she's some kind of mistress. She said that I was an a-hole and that I needed to reevaluate my life and consider my unborn child. My ex says he completely understands and that she is overreacting. I feel the same way, but I don't know. Maybe I was a little too harsh. Am I the a-hole? Edit. For clarity, no, my ex is not still with her. It was a brief fling that quickly ended. He is very active in both our pregnancies. I'm not sure how the custody agreement with my child's siblings will be, but my ex will get joint custody of our child, so I am hoping there will be a great relationship between the two children, even if I'm not involved in the other child's life. Not an a-hole. Did she want a sister-wives situation? Cordial seems like the appropriate setting. And let's get real, neither kid is going to know its foot from its elbow anytime soon. I can only hope pregnancy hormones, along with being knocked up by a fling, has made her temporarily in a weird place. Let it breathe. You had a pretty level-headed response.